Welcome. Today, in a new drop of mystery, we will continue a very fascinating topic, the adventures of the Warrens. In a few minutes video, we will talk about the case of the 112 Ocean Avenue in Amytiville, the horror house. In 1924, a new house was built on this land to replace the previous one, which was moved in another location. After one or two owners, in 1965 the house was bought by the DeFeo family. The DeFeo family included the father, mother, 3 sons and 2 daughters. For many years the DeFeos showed a common life in the neighborhood, but in reality, within the domestic walls, violent discussions were done in daily basis. The head of the family, Joseph, was said to be an authoritarian father, who used strong manners, especially with Ronnie, the oldest son, about whom his father had many expectations that were regularly missed. Ronnie was actually a wild boy, did not engage in studies, squandered money and used drugs. An unstable person who on the night of November 13, 1974, exactly at 3:15 a.m., massacred his family with rifle shots. The parents, the 2 brothers and the 2 younger sisters. The house later remained uninhabited for 13 months, and then bought by George and Kathleen Lutz, who, although aware of the creepy murders that took place within that house, they took advantage of the cheap price. The Lutzes called a priest in order to bless the home, who poured holy water all over the house. When the priest arrived at the bedroom on the 2nd floor, during the blessing, an invisible voice whispered in his ear, "Go away." The priest said nothing of that strange event to the Lutz family, but recommended to avoid to sleep in that room, where he sensed an evil presence. The Lutzes followed the priest's words, but despite this, the uncomfortable feelings within those walls began almost immediately. A constant cold, a physical weakening of family members, and one of the daughters spent most of her day locked in her room playing with an imaginary friend named Jody. In addition, they sensed a smell of putrefaction, saw strange black spots on the walls, a greenish, gelatinous substance that filled the house, and the room on the 2nd floor was constantly invaded by flies. Every night, at the same time, 3:15, George Lutz woke up at the time of the DeFeo massacre. Awake accompanied by hallucinations, the wife transformed into an ugly old woman, the bed levitating, and strange shadows. The Lutzes tried to contact again the priest who blessed the house, but without success. And trying to exorcise that house themselves, they experienced the most terrifying night of their life, choruses of demonic voices, furniture struck by invisible forces, and deafening noises. The Lutz family, after only 28 days in that house, ran away terrorized in the middle of the night, and never returning back. A few weeks later, Ed and Lorrain Warren, called by a local reporter, visited the house in Amytiville with a team of investigators. During the inspection, Ed was pushed to the ground by an invisible force, and Lorraine had the vision of the massacre of the DeFeos. The Warrens also had the opportunity to take the photo of the spirit of one of the DeFeo sons. The Warrens' investigations also brought to light the disturbing past of the Ocean Avenue house. The Shinnecock tribe of Native Americans used that place as a madhouse, sick people who were buried in that piece of land, and if that wasn't enough, in 1924, the same land belonged to John Ketchum, a practitioner of black magic, who spent his life trying to conjure a demon, which seems to haunt the house. John Ketchum is buried there, in that land, and the Ocean Avenue house in Amytiville is still one of the most haunted and famous places in the world, inspiration for successful books and movies. And you, what do you think? Write it down in a comment. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel Mystery e Omba. Do not miss the next drops of mystery. Don't forget to share these fascinating stories with friends. See you at the next mystery.